Right. Let's unpack this. We are diving into the life and work of a figure whose name, well, it pretty much defines geometry. Pythagoras of Samos.
Hmm.
You probably know a squared plus b squared equals c squared, but the sources show he was also a philosopher, a music theorist, and a pretty powerful political figure.
What's so fascinating here is how his intellectual authority wasn't just talent. It was a total lifestyle.
Oh, lifestyle, right, yeah.
For Pythagoras, math, discipline, spirituality, it was all one single pursuit. So our mission here is to understand not just his achievements, but how he developed this radical self-preparation.
And what that unique blend of science and this idea of cosmos of order means for us.
Exactly.
So where does a sage like this even come from? He was born on Samos around 580 BC, and his early path was basically set by Thales.
Right, who essentially told him, go to Egypt. That's where you get a real education.
And he did. He embarked on decades of travel, all driven by this just insatiable thirst for learning.
He did. He fled Samos around age 18 to get away from a tyrant. And that kicked off years of intense study. First in Phoenicia, then an incredible 22 years with priests in Egypt.
22 years.
And it didn't stop there. He spent 12 years as a captive in Babylon, learning theology and astronomy from the Magi.
That's a colossal amount of preparation. So was this intense discipline just for, mental clarity, or was it also a prerequisite, a kind of political tool for his inner circle later on?
I think it was both. It was rooted in this core belief that to understand the world outside, you first have to control the world inside. Near Thales, he adopted this really controlled lifestyle, light foods, moderate wine, very little sleep. The sources claim this self-mastery was the key to achieving clarity of soul.
Yeah.
It was the engine of his success.
So after all that, he finally returns to Samos. He's around 56.
And he finds his countrymen are just apathetic. They're not interested.
So he leaves again. He relocates to Croton in southern Italy, basically looking for a country that was ready to learn.
And it's in Croton where all that preparation really manifests in his most famous work. Take the Pythagorean theorem.
Okay.
Other civilizations, like the Babylonians, they use the principle in a practical way. But Pythagoras, or at least his students, developed the first known theoretical proof.
So it's a shift from knowing how something works to knowing why it works.
That's it. It's a monumental leap.
And this is where he merges the rationale with the cosmic, right?
Yeah.
With the music.
His truly revolutionary discovery was that musical intervals, the octave, the fifth, could be expressed as simple numerical ratios, just using the first four integers.
He believed everything was governed by these numbers.
Yep.
It was a way to understand the structure of the universal order, the cosmos.
He built a whole society around it. The Homokoion in Croton. It was a political, religious, secret society. And they were revolutionary in accepting women philosophers like his wife, Theano.
And they swore an oath, didn't they, by the Tetractus?
They did. And he applied this internal mathematical order to the outside world. His laws helped liberate cities like Croton and Samos, making them, as sources say, enviable.
So this raises an important question for us today. What is the lasting lesson from that internal discipline?
I think the lesson is that same idea of internal order. Pythagoras taught that applying that cosmic structure to your own internal world was the path to a kind of immortality.
And he made it tangible, the just cup.
The just cup, yeah. A brilliant device. It was a cup designed to empty its entire contents if you poured just one drop too much.
It's a perfect physical analogy for moderation against what he called hybris, that destructive excess. If you ignore moderation, the whole structure just fails.
And he left us with this aphorism it perfectly summarizes it, even for modern life. He said, by every means we must chase away sickness from the body, luxury from the belly, rebellion from the city, discord from the house, and immoderation from everything.
The irony, though, is palpable. For a master of order, he ultimately fell victim to complete disorder.
He did. He was persecuted by a man named Cylon, a rejected applicant who felt slighted. Cylon stirred up a mob, and they burned down the meeting house. It eventually led to Pythagoras' death.
A violent end.
A very violent end. But his philosophy endured. His followers, sworn to secrecy, preserved their knowledge, and it went on to influence thinkers like Plato. Consider this. Pythagoras believed the soul couldn't truly ascend without music. So maybe the ultimate lesson he left us is that true wisdom is that harmonious, measured integration of mind, body, and the ordered cosmos. Something for you to mull over until our next deep dive.